Hello, welcome to Stampin' by Hannah. Thank you for joining me today. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK, and I'm so pleased that you've joined me today for this techniques video. Now, normally on a Friday I make a technique based card, and I have a technique for you today, but I'm not going to make the card, I'm just going to do the technique, because the card I'm actually going to make for my newsletter subscribers. My newsletter goes out on a Monday, and every Monday I send them a video. So this is going to be in that video. So if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, the link is in the down bar below. But this is the card that I'm using as inspiration for Monday, but also features the technique we're going to do. So it's harsh, like watercolour background, but with harsh lines to it. And this card is so pretty. Was totally inspired by a card that I saw on Facebook, which used a similar colour and a similar technique, and this die, which is from the Eclectic Layers Thinlits dies, and then I just sort of ran with it, and I think it's so pretty. We've got a layer of vellum and some glimmer paper. This is the champagne foil that's just beautiful, and I thought it's a lovely card, and I love the technique, so I'm going to do the technique, replicate the technique for you on video today, with a different colour. I'm going to use Tranquil Tide. Now this is a bit of a brave choice, because the card I'm going to make for you on Monday in my newsletter is a congratulations card. I'm thinking, you know, it's coming up for Valentine's Day. Lots of people get engaged. You're going to need some wedding themed congratulations cards, aren't you? So that's the kind of thing we're going with, but I'm going to go with Tranquil Tide because I love this colour. I've also got a piece of the shimmery white cardstock, which is hard to photograph, but picks up really well on camera. So can you see it's got this beautiful glimmery, glittery surface, but it's perfect for watercolouring. It's a lovely smooth paper, but it's great for watercolouring on. I have an aqua painter, which has got plenty of water in it, and I've also got my Stampin' Up heat tool. And the reason I use a heat tool, you could do this without one, but it would take a bit longer. I use this to dry my paper in between layers, because we are gonna have to build up the colour here, and it's a quick way of doing it. So there is going to be some heat gun in this video. You will need to adjust your sound. So first things first, you can watercolour with all of Stampin' Up Classic ink. And the great thing about Stampin' Up Classic ink is they come in these fabulous ink pads that have a kind of, as you can see, I use this one already, a kind of palette to it. So if you just click your stamp pad up, click it straight forward so it's still flat, squeeze the front and the back together, and that will deposit ink onto this surface here. You can then use that, like I said, as a palette, and you can pick up your ink to watercolour with. You pick up your ink with your aqua painter and spread it on. So what we're going to do, this is a dry aqua painter at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it, and I'm going to drop some water onto that pool of ink and kind of smooth it around a little bit. This is probably going to be really dark and probably quite scary. So I think right. So I'm going to just make a wash across my cardstock, and I'm going to go a little bit wider than I did on the original, but in a similar kind of place, and we're just like that. And I'm not worrying about any lines or anything in it, because I kind of want those at this point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my heat gun just to dry that off, because you can see it's quite wet. The Stampin' Up heat tool has 2 heat settings on it. I don't know how you can see this. There is a 1 and then there is a 2. I'm going to go straight in for 2 because it's quicker. The other thing I do with my heat gun is I turn it on away from what I'm going to heat up and get it hot first. And this will prevent your paper from warping too much. This is going to warp a little bit because it is watercolouring, and that's just how it's going to work. Okay, so my camera's deciding to play silly games again today, and it stopped in between me while I was drying that off with my heat gun. But you can see that is now completely dry. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back in to the same pool of ink, obviously, because we're using one colour, and I'm going to just make little marks, little squares down my my watercolour wash, and I could pick up some more ink and make them darker. And literally, this is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to make squares. And it looks a little bit like brick sometimes. I'm going to just do one there. And you can see they're drying quite quickly because it's not a lot of water or ink. So we're just going to make another square over here. And you can then move things around. If you overlap them, you'll get a different effect again. I'll do another one there. And because you are purposely going to make marks, basically. So, and that is practically the whole technique. We are just going to leave the lines in it. If you could completely blend it out with your aqua painter, and that would be very pretty, but I like this kind of, I like a harsh line, and it looks a bit of a mess. It does look a bit of a mess until you then take your dye to it, and it all kind of comes together. So the other thing I've done on the previous one is I've splattered some of the ink as well. So I'm just going to take another aqua painter and just bash one against the other. And I'm going to drop some droplets on as well. And it just creates a different, each thing creates a different effect. So I'm going to close that ink pad up because I'm going to just step away from my desk. And my cat is currently, I think she's missed me. I've been on nights at the beginning of the part of this week, the week that I'm filming this, and I think she's missed me because she keeps coming up to me and just looking at me, and I'm getting lots of cuddles, and she doesn't normally like me very much. So you can see where I've dropped that ink, it's completely bleached off. And I really like that. It makes a really nice textured effect. So that is how to create harsh lines with your Stampin' Up! Classic inks. If you want to see me take this into a completed card, do check out my newsletter. As I said at the beginning of this video, subscription details for my newsletter are available in the down bar below, as is the link to my online shop, where you can find any of the products that I show in my videos. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.